Verkos show. Today's guest is actually born in Australia, but at this present moment, he's living in the UK. He was a non-reader growing up, but now became an author of over 16 books, film producer and photographer. Please welcome on the show, Chris Jackson. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
Yeah, very good.
That's good. Thank you for being on the show today, because I know it's nice and early and it's freezing over there.
Yes, it is.
So, Chris, so tell us, you were telling me that when you were younger, you weren't into reading, and then all of a sudden something happened at school and your life changed and you became an author. Do you want to just take us down that road?
Yeah, well, it was back, I was in year 9 at Kedron High School, and we had to do a book report. So I got assigned with reading this story about a horse, which quite frankly bored me to tears. But so I decided, well, the morning, well, yeah. So I decided to write a 4-page short story instead, and so I handed that in to the teacher, and I said to him, I didn't read the book, so I wrote a story instead. He goes, "Oh, okay." So he decided to announce in the English class that I had written a story. I was like, oh my God, so embarrassed me in front of the whole class. I felt like crawling under a rock. So then so I was like, oh God, yeah. So I didn't do any writing after that. There was up until 1989, I wrote 26 short stories, never had them published because I didn't want to. I was writing for the to like experiment, all different genres, horror and drama and sci-fi and kids book, and all short stories ranging 9 pages, 20 pages, and so on. It was 1994. I took out one of the stories, and I thought, because the writing bug was always there, so I took out one of the stories called Shack of Evil, and I thought, okay, I'm going to rewrite this. So I did. Called it Dark World. And that was a 2-part book of 300 pages, but I was writing it from the first person point of view. So okay. I thought, no, I don't want to do it from the first point of view, because to me it felt like being, no. I'm going to do this. I'm going to redo this the way that Stephen King does it. So third person point of view. So that was 2006. That it was a very long hiatus. So 2006, I rewrote it into Rise of the Darkness, which was a 300 odd page horror novel, where I finally got to develop characters. And when I was writing it, it was like I was seeing it being played out like a movie in my head as I was writing. And then that spawned, because I always wanted it to have the final ending, which was released last year, 2 years ago. So that gave birth to the second book, Bloodline of Darkness, which gave birth to another book. And that Bloodline of Darkness took about a year and a half to write that, because I had a 9-month writer's block, and that was I didn't know what to do with the character. Okay. I'd run out of ideas. Then it dawned on me, okay, I'll have him go through alternate realities. So it goes along, something happens, and he gets killed, and then he wakes up, and then another scenario, and it all ends drastically. And then so after I got through all that, then the rest of it just flowed out. So it's like, yeah, this is how it's meant to be. But
so that started from childhood, because you were a non-reader when you were telling me that you didn't enjoy reading, and then that horse little story that you told gave you that inspiration, and only that, like with writer's block, because I know a lot of writers get that. How did you handle that?
Usually I didn't write, or try to like Bloodline of Darkness. That was very hard to write because I had no idea where to take the characters from a certain point. That's when the dreams, the alternate reality sequences came into play. It took months and months to figure that one out. But it was once I got through that part, through that hurdle, then the rest of the story just flowed out. So I reintroduced one of the characters into it. So there's a bit of time travel that goes on in Bloodline of Darkness, back to the ancient Mizunabites, which were part of a small tribe, part of the ancient Sumerians. So I had to do a bit of research on ancient Sumerians back in 2009, which the internet was not all that. Well, it was okay, but not what it is now. So that it did flow out eventually. And then that gave birth to another book. I did a script when I was in Russia, a love story called She's Not So Ordinary. And that was quite entertaining because, no, I don't do romance. It's like, I thought, no, I don't write romance stories. I'm going to change this. I'm going to put this into the Chosen series. So a complete rewrite, and banged out that book in like about 2 or 3 months. Because already so we're introduced to this character Laura. She's quite the hell vixen, literally.
Okay. So how did the film production, or the film producer that you are, how did that all come into play? Is that because of the visions you saw with the book? How did all that come to unfold in your life?
Well, that actually started, when was that? 2010. I had this idea to do a comedy called The Telemarketers, which, based in a call center, and everything all the antics that can go on in a call center does go on. It was a pilot episode. It ended up costing me 10 grand to get it done, which, being a newbie to the film world, that it shouldn't have cost anywhere near that. But so I end up with a pilot that I couldn't use because the production quality was just not there. So I shelved that, and then went on to what was it? I did a talk show in Aussie called Creatives on the Couch, and then that led to doing a 6-part comedy show that was aired on 31 in Melbourne, called Bogan Bachelor, which is kind of taking the mickey out of Farmer Wants a Wife, the Bachelor, and all this. So typical Bogan. He's on the show in order to get out of jail time. He has to be on the show for trying to find a wife, even though he really doesn't want to. He'd just rather have a couple of tins of VB, best beer in the world, and just rather just get his Centrelink money. So it was like, it was a 6-part series. It was absolutely brilliant. It took we filmed every weekend to do just one episode, so it took us 6 weeks to do 6 episodes, and it was great. It was good. It was submitted to a couple of film festivals, St Kilda Film Festival, and got to do the whole red carpet experience. It was like, it's cool.
How good is that? Especially in Australia too. It's good talking to an Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi, oi.
Oi. It's so good. I interview so many people from all around the world, and I'm actually talking to someone with the same accent as me. It's amazing.
The Brits, they kind of like to take the mickey out. Well, a couple of guys that I know, well, one in particular, he goes, every time he sees me, he goes, throw another shrimp on the barbie. It's like, dude, that's totally wrong. The only reason they did that was because, the ad campaign to the Americans. Americans say shrimp. Aussies, we say prawn. Or
we say the snags. What about the snags? The sausages.
Snags. And they don't get the concept of the Bunnings, because every Bunnings in the country in Aussie. The
Oh,
sausage
how
sizzle.
nice are they? The buns with the sausages and the onion at Bunnies.
They
They're the
don't do
best,
that
mate.
here. They don't do
Sorry?
that here. They don't do that here. There's the sausage
Oh,
sizzle.
no. Oh,
It's like,
no.
so that's going to be one of the first things I'm going to be doing when we hit Aussie in 2 years. So yeah, going to a Bunnings, and we're going
And
there just for the sausage sizzle.
I know, I don't blame you. I reckon they have the best sausage sizzles. But also, how did photography come into all this as well? Because you do photography as well.
Yeah, I started doing that a couple of years ago in 2000. Well, actually doing it more and more since 2019. So I did different styles to experiment to see exactly what I'm comfortable with doing. Did some outdoor shoots, did other types of shoots, but now it's mostly when I'm doing film production that a lot of the photos they go up on the photography page, and yeah, people ask me to do photo shoots for them, headshots and all this type of stuff. It's a lot of fun. Because yeah, I got how many cameras have I got? Three cameras, two Nikons, two Canons, one Nikon. Got a video camera, and yeah, it's building up the entire thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
So have you
Yeah.
ever made any of your books into a movie?
When was this? September. Was it September? Yeah, September. We finished filming on a horror movie called Man and Angle. It's based on Philippine folklore. Now I know that normally people they write the book first and then it's adapted to a movie. So this one I've actually done it backwards. So this is done the movie first, and then the book version will come out in 2 years. Because next year there's a lot of stuff that's going on with film production and everything else that we're doing. So that'll be a book version which will fit into the Chosen series, and so that will, because I didn't write the series in chronological order. It's all here, there, there. But when you read the series, it's like, all right, that makes sense, because people had a lot of questions about. People had a lot of questions that were unanswered in Rise of Darkness, which were answered in Bloodline of Darkness, and then people had questions in that, which were answered in She's Not So Ordinary, and then there was questions in that haven't been answered yet. But so Man and Angle will fit into there at book 3, even though it's technically book 7, but it's actually fits into right there after Bloodline of Darkness, then followed by She's Not So Ordinary, then there's something else there, and then the final one, book 7, is Prophecy's End. Nothing happens after Prophecy's End, because that's the end of the prophecy.
Oh, okay, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Good work. Like, who would think? Did you ever think as a child that you were going to go down this path? What was your goals and your dreams when you were a kid?
Well, I'll put it this way: when the Empire Strikes Back, I was kind of like an unofficial Jedi even before it was popular. So I got teased a lot in high school, that oh, there he is, the Jedi. It's like, but now it's an official religion. It's like, oh yeah, cool. I was this before it was even popular.
Big fan of Return of the Jedi. Oh my gosh, that brings back memories, and that's really their age too. God bless.
It was Return of the Jedi was really good, and then you had the prequels, they were good, but then you had the final 3, they were good, with the exception of the Last Jedi, which that's had a lot of mixed reviews. But it was okay for what it was, but just it wasn't Luke Skywalker. It wasn't Luke Skywalker, the Last Jedi. It was maybe his cousin.
Oh, okay. So was that, just watching that, was that what gave you ideas to be a film producer? Or did you, from young, did you ever think you were going to go down that road?
No, I never thought that I would go down that road. Even though no, because I was in a church one time. There was this visiting pastor from America. Can't remember what his name was, and he was giving words of different words over different people and words of prophecy and knowledge and all this. And he said to me, God's got big plans for you. I was thinking, oh yeah. He goes, you are going to be writing works of gold and silver. So, yeah. But it just took a very, very long time to actually see things come about. It's only been like, what am I now? 50. How old am I now? 53, I think.
I can't help you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 53. So that was when I was how old was I then? It must have been like 20 or something like that. So it's taken a very long time.
When you heard that, how did that impact you? That's a big message.
I know. Well, it's like, oh, cool. Yeah. But being 20 something was like, but I can see, but as I do different productions, like earlier this year, we did a comedy film, which was called Disaster Dates. And it was an improv comedy. So all the actors, they had like a character brief, right? And so we did the auditions, we did the rehearsals, and then when it came time for filming, most of the actors had it like this, they were brilliant. And Disaster Dates, they end up winning 6 awards for best comedy at different film festivals around the world, plus a few honorable mentions. It's got an honorable mention at the London Film Festival. That was a big one. There, so it was 6 awards for best comedy. It's like, wow, that's cool. That's really something. I didn't expect it to actually get that, but it's like, wow, that was really. That was amazing.
Yeah, the film would be. Yeah.
It's like a blessing that opens up. You just see doors opening up, bang, 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 one after the other, after the other, after the other, and it's like, well, when God opens up doors, I mean, it's like a train.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing, Chris?
Yeah.
When God does open the doors, it's like practically He's putting everything in front of you, and then you've got to make your choices. Like you either act on it or you don't. That's the state and the place I'm in at the moment, where I see all my doors opening, and it's just like, wow, you can either utilize it for your good, or do you sit back and not act on it? Like, I just think go for it.
Yeah, it is. with film production is. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's easy, because it's not. Because you gotta go listing up the casting call. You gotta have all the people audition. It's not a very simple process. You got to get the right people that's going to be able to pull off what you envision for the film. And then not only do you have the rehearsals, and rehearsals can be like a full day at least. First you got the script read, and then you got the rehearsals, and so that can be a minimum of a day, depending on how big the film is. I mean, with Disaster Dates, we managed to actually get a feature film done in 2 days, because it was all one location, different parts of this club. So that worked out well. There was a few little errors here and there, because you could see some of the crew in the background, at the other side of the bar, and just small things. But we learned a lot from actually. We took away more experience, because it had been a while since I was in the film game. It was like 2016 when I was last in it, and then when I was ready to do something, the elephant in the room, COVID, hit the planet, and everything was put on hold.
Yes.
So and then when everything changed, was it started this year? Was it last year? I don't know. So it's like everything just, right, bang, time to do it. So bang, disaster dates. 2 seasons of Creators on the Couch, and then we filmed Man in an Angle, which was, how many weekends was that? That was 6 weekends, I think it was, if I remember, and it was all different locations here in Manchester area. So we hired a green screen studio in Manchester. Got to work on a green screen. It's like, yeah, that's neato. So then in the back of this, in here is a little town, a suburb, Haywood. And at the back, so you got this old big building that was built in 1882 called Crimble Mill. And so right next to that is this forest. So it's got to we shot there, and then so it was all, and then a cafe, and then actually filming in a pub, and so and then seeing everything come to life as you're actually there directing it. It's like, really neat, and you make really good connections in the film industry. At the moment, I'm an executive producer on this on a feature film. I'm not going to give away too many spoilers about it, okay. But it's called The Road to Redemption. It's based on a true story. About human trafficking. That's all I'm going to say about one person's experience in that. So I'm executive producer on that. So I got the fun part of when the film is finished. It's looking at next month sometime. So I get to do all the updating on IMDb, and updating on IMDb. It takes hours and hours and hours, and you've got to list all the cast, all the crew, special thanks, filming locations. Yeah, it is. It is good. Well, we're back up. We're back up on set we're filming in Blackpool, which is on the west coast. It's on what you got beach there. And since we're in winter, it's going to be really cold. Colder than what it is now. Yeah, so
you tell me how cold it was. Oh my goodness, and you still can't get used to the weather. God bless you.
No. Well, it is. A lot of the time it is like Melbourne, but it's not. This kind of weather is colder than Melbourne. Even though in winter Melbourne gets cold, but we do get the 4 seasons in one day. Just like in Melbourne. So you never know what to wear when you go out. And of course, driving is we drive on the same side. We do it on the same side of the road as in Aussie, except that with the exception that we're in miles per hour rather than kilometers an hour. So that's been entertaining driving on the freeways here, because kind of doing 100 on the freeways. Not meant to do that, but but it is good.
You're actually living your dream. You're actually you're doing everything you love.
Nearly everything, but it is good being in the film game, and it is good being an author of so many books. It's some guy in Aussie a couple of years. When was that? 7 years ago, something like that. 8 years. He said that he made a comment that I'm Australia's answer to Stephen King. It's like, cool.
That's a good compliment.
That is a very good compliment. Australia's answer to Stephen King. So neat.
How Aussie?
Yeah, and someone else, an acting friend of mine, she known her for years and years. She made a comment on my wall a couple of weeks ago. She said that kicking goals in the film industry. Australia's loss, UK's gain. You know, something like that. She said. It's like,
That's
yeah, but
amazing.
you know, still Aussie. You know, so kicking goals for Aussie. Yeah, so it's happening step by step. I mean, so at the moment we're doing well. I'm doing writing for Disaster Days #2. That's been a bit of a cloudy thing because I didn't know whether I wanted to do like Stanley Kubrick, you know, noir film, or if I wanted to go down the route of what's his name, Hitchcock.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, so if I wanted to go down that route of making it like one of his psychological thrillers, so so still thinking about doing it his way, and then so pretty much worked out yesterday. I worked out a lot of the scenes is just two more characters that we need. And the way that it's looking is going to be a psychological thriller. So it is looking like it's going to go the Hitchcock way, except it's not going to be in black and white when we're done. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to have an ending that no one's going to expect, because in order to actually get it, you're going to have to see it twice.
Oh my goodness.
Because that's the way that's the way that the ending scene plays out. Because yeah, this woman, this character Isabella, she has multiple personalities, and she, yeah, it's you definitely got to see it twice to actually understand what exactly is going on. There was a movie that did that years ago. I think it was one of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, where you had to see it twice to actually understand what was going on. Which one was that now?
Okay, something different. Oh my goodness. So you've
Yeah.
been very active in the industry, which is fantastic.
Mm. Yeah, it is great to connect with all these filmies, and you know, you get to see what people can and can't do. But yeah, when we come to Aussie in 24, we're going to be doing some filming, you know, in Melbourne. So you know, it's going to be a good thing to catch up with the entire gang. Well, a lot of them that are still around. But yeah,
That'll be good.
yeah, they're not going
Also,
to expect it until a couple of weeks before. So I just
okay.
post on Facebook, the Metropolis kid is coming back to Metropolis.
That'll be good. And also, are you into the schooners?
Oh, right, the pots.
Sorry?
The pot of lagers, schooners. No, no, no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. They don't call schooner here. No, they have. Well, they do have Aussie beer here. Well,
Okay.
yeah, and there's no prizes to guess what that would be. Ugh. Foster's.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a beer girl. I can't say I don't drink alcohol, but I know that beer is very big too. And I know in England it is as well, in the UK.
It is. Yeah, they have the only Aussie beer they got is Foster's. It's like, no, that's not beer.
Okay, well, you've got a lot of catching up to do when
Real
you come back
beer.
to Aussie.
Oh yeah, real beer is VB, Victoria Bitter. You know, that's the only beer that's worthy of being overseas, and it's very hard to get. Um, with that, you know, it's very hard to get an actual decent souvlaki. I
And
mean,
go to Greece. Chris, go to Greece and get a
I'm
decent
going to have to go to
souvlaki.
Greece to
No,
get a decent souvlaki, but no, there were some places in Melbourne that actually did the real authentic Greek souvlaki. So yeah, that's proper. You know, but yeah, here they do have Greek restaurants, but they do it more like your standard wrap. It's like,
oh,
this is
okay.
not a souvlaki.
Okay, well, you've got a lot of catching up to do when you come back. That's all I can say. Not only
I know.
with friends and family and people you know, the food as well and the beer.
A lot of the food, because you know, every chippy that you go to, every fish and chip shop that you go to is all chicken salt.
Oh,
And yeah, because you know, well, all the ones in Melbourne, you go to any fish and chip shop in Melbourne, they'll say, do you want salt or chicken salt? Chicken salt. Put chicken salt on it. On the fish, on the potato cakes, on the chips, you know, even on the chicken. Put chicken salt on the chicken. Love it.
We enjoy our food. Oh,
I know.
You get to taste it again. Not long now. That's your goal now.
We actually got chicken salt. We actually had to order it online from Amazon, so we actually got chicken salt. And when my partner tried it, it's like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I said, I know.
How good is that? Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Also, Chris, like your journey, like from a young kid and then getting that break of realizing that you can write a story and do books and everything. If you had a message to deliver to the world and all the viewers there today listening to this interview, what advice would you give them?
Writing a book is only one part of the journey. It's 5% of the process. The other 95% of it comes from marketing yourself to become a brand. Because when you're an author, regardless if you're published by a standard publisher or hybrid publisher, or if you self-publish, you still got to do all the legwork now of being an author. And I realized that very early when my first book was published by an American publisher in 2008, that I had to do all the marketing myself. And there are virtual book tour companies out there like Goddess, Fish Promotions, Pump Up Your Book, and place like that. They didn't come into existence till like 2010. So for 365 days straight, I only had to market myself, go on people's blogs, get permission to, you know, be on their blogs. And so 365 days of actually doing that and being on like shows like Blog Talk Radio, being on TV, doing TV interview. It's all 95% of your time is going to be marketing yourself to become a brand. So, and it's always not that easy when you have a full life. I mean, I've got a son, he's 13, nearly 14, but he thinks he's 20, and he's got ADHD and ODD. So it's a matter of being able to balance my son with everything else of being a writer, being a filmmaker, and all that. Yeah. And photographer and everything else that I do. So it's not always easy, but it is manageable if you've got the right time management skills. Yes. So you spend this amount of time doing this amount of time doing that. Dealing with a child who's got mental health issues, and then doing all this other stuff. It's like you got to wear about 20 hats at the same time. It's not easy, but it can be done as long as you got a great mentor.
And it's persistence and consistency. And like you said, you've got to allocate time, and it's I realize a lot of things like that too. It's allocating your time, where you're going to spend it. It's being as well as being proactive. You have to have schedule. You have to have routine, because it's a lot involved.
It is a real lot involved in managing everything. And some people say, I don't know how you do it being a writer and being a filmmaker and managing a child who's got mental health problems, and you're doing everything else. It's just like, you know, thank you, Lord.
God bless you, Chris. You know what? I wish you all the best, though, because you're doing really well, and I'm so proud of you and what you've accomplished in a short period of time, and also with your son, which I didn't know about your son. So thank you for bringing that up, because it'll make people see that it is possible, you know. It is
possible, because even the health system here, it works very, very differently than what it does in Aussie. Because here, in order to get in to see a psychologist, you've got to have a referral from the GP. So the GP has to send in a referral to the mental health system. Then you've got to wait for an appointment. In Aussie is a very different ball game. You can just go in and then they'll refer you, and you get it's very quick, you know. And all the documentation that I had for my son, even though Australia was the first world country, all that documentation from professionals, it doesn't mean anything here. So it's got to start the whole process again. It's like it can be like one of them things of, but you know, you just do what you have to do. You know, you got to have the determination to actually see through. You got to have the determination to see everything through to the very end, regardless of what it is. I mean, it'd be easy to throw your hands up in the air and go, meh. But you know, you just got to keep pushing,
Yeah, obviously you're a hands-on dad too, which is fantastic, and you're doing everything else. But I take my hat off to you, Chris. Good on you, and I wish you all the best for your future and everything that you do.
Yeah. It's a very long journey ahead, and it's going to be good. You know, because we've got 3 film productions next year. We've got the talk show. We're going to LA to start things over in LA. It's and then the year after that in Aussie.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
Good on you. All right then, Chris. Well, that's all we have time for today. But I do wish you the best. You deserve it, Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll never know. Might see you in Aussie in a couple of years.
Well, I would hope so, because 24 is coming. It'll come very fast. So yeah. So yeah, you've got to catch up for decent chicken palmy.
Oh, definitely. All right, then. Well, take care. All the best, and thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it, Chris, and thank you for sharing.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for sharing that part about your son. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If anything, it'll just
welcome.
give everyone strength and inspire and empower others that they can do it too.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, because if people got a child who's got like ADHD, ODD, I hope that they'll be able to get inspired and encouraged that they can actually, you know, no matter what's going on with your child, if you've got goals and ambitions, you can still accomplish it if you've got the faith to do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate you. Take care, and we'll talk soon anyway.
Yeah, we will.
All right, then. Signing off for now from the Talk Show Angel on the Verkos Show. Thank you. Bye.